about that, or you can see me and I can walk you through the process about that, okay? So I wanted to just remind you that this is not something we're just making up, but it's something that really has to do with how even Jesus himself got the church or started gathering with people. Okay, and the other thing I want to just talk about is that in that same context, there's this moment where he shares a story with people. And Olivia, who you saw earlier, I don't know if she's in the room, but she did a great job reading the passage for us. I thought about it this week, and I thought it'd be great to have young kids regularly part of our gathering so that they understand that this is their community, like they're part of shaping the fabric of this church. They're not like only here when they're older, and but they can be part of it now. And so we want her to read this story, and this is the story, very simple. So a farmer, he went out and he planted some seeds, and Jesus is sharing the story with people who are listening. And as he scattered the seed across his field, some of the seed fell on footpath, and the birds came and ate it. Other seed fell on shallow soil with underlying rock. The seed sprouted quickly because the soil was shallow. But the plant soon withered or wilted under the hot sun, and since it didn't have deep roots, it died. This is this incredible story about Jesus telling people, listen, if you're going to make it in life, if you're going to really survive the things that are going to happen to you in this world, you're going to have to get really, really serious about what it means to have deep roots in your life. And the people who are listening to him, actually, at some point in the story, are very confused. They hear the story and they have no idea what he's talking about. They're like, is Jesus telling us that we should be farmers? Is he telling us that we did farming really, really badly? Is he telling us we should kill the birds on our farm? Like what does all of this mean? And at one point in the story, which I'm going to elaborate more on next week, he adds to the story. He keeps adding. This is what he says next. Other seed fell among the thorn that grew up and choked out the tender plants, so they produced no grain. Still others fell on fertile soil, and they sprouted. And they grew, and they produced a crop that was 30, 60, and even 100 times as much as had been planted. And so Jesus is saying, listen, there's a way that you can live your life. There's a type of life that if it's rooted in the proper way, births all kinds of fruit and can help you experience new life. And Jesus is saying this, and at one point, this is how he ends that whole parable. He ends by explaining this. Then Jesus said to them, if you can't understand the meaning of this parable, how will you understand all the other parables that he's going to share with them? He says the farmer planted seed by taking God's words to others. And so he gives them kind of the key that makes the whole parable make sense. And he says, this is not about farming, this is not about seeds, it's not about any of that. It's actually about learning to hear God speak to you in such a way where you take what he says to you, the seed of him speaking, and you plant that deep, deep into your life. And I think for those of us who are here, for those of us who are thinking about being part of this church or connecting in this kind of community, I think it's going to be really, really important for us to take this seriously. More seriously almost than anything else we'll do. Because it's very easy to tell other people to get their life together. It's very easy to provide solutions for other people. It's very easy to hope that other people kind of fix up their problems and to ignore the very issues that we have to deal with in our own lives. It's very easy. I do it all the time. Trust me. Because it's easier to see the problems in other people's lives. And in this moment, Jesus has this time with these people who are listening to him. And we're told that there's large crowds of people that are following him. And he says to them, listen, unless you're really serious about the soil of your heart and whether it can receive the words that I'm sharing with you, unless you're serious enough that those seeds get planted, and when they're planted, the roots go so deep that when the problems in life come, when the challenges in life come, when you struggle with so many things in life, that if you're not careful, it's going to look like things are growing. But really, the seed never took root, and it's really, really shallow. And the next thing you know, the plant that you thought was growing really is just dead. Jesus shares this parable with people to help them think about life. He's not just talking about farming, he's actually talking about life. And I'll never forget, because last year I was preaching about something similar, and I read that last year one of the words of the year in the Oxford English Dictionary was selfie. Okay, so those of you who don't know, selfie is a real word now, okay? It's in the dictionary to take a selfie. And we live in a culture, and I mean, you can't really change this as part of our world, that we love taking pictures of things that give people like the perception that things are great. And I'll give you an example of where I see this the most. I have like a special bird's eye view into this experience because my wife is a photographer, okay? And if you're ever with a photographer, if you're married to a photographer, you know the skill that it takes to take like a family of people who are yelling, want to kill themselves, put on your hat, clean up your face, all that. And then within 3 seconds, everybody's standing still and you get a picture. Ever had that experience again? My wife is amazing at that. Okay? She's with babies, they're crying, they're like all this stuff, and she does these weird sounds, and she's like, woo woo, I don't know what. And they like start to smile, and she gets a picture. And then I see her, like, I see the pictures, and I'm thinking, I was there that day, and it was madness. Like, it was insane. Like, the parents were ready to kill their kids, right? And yet, like, when you see the picture, you get this image, it's like, look at how beautiful that family looks. It's amazing. And some of the pictures, you know how I know? It's my kids. Like, I see pictures of my kids in our house, and I think about the context of that picture, and I'm thinking, I was so ready to lock them up in the garage. Like, you know, like that borderline. And then my wife, she got this moment, and the picture's great, and maybe a twinkle of Photoshop, maybe, okay? And the picture looks amazing. We live in a culture that has taught us to present ourselves in that way. We live in a culture that's taught us that life is really just snapshots of small moments that make us look great. Yeah, I mean, you can really just tweet that. That's really the world we live in, right? And then we actually start to realize that we have no spaces in our life where people see us in our messy place. People see us when things are broken. People see us when, like, there's a hole in your ceiling of your house. People see you when your kids are not listening. You're like, this is insane. I don't know how to be a parent. You know, like that moment, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And Jesus offers people this incredible freedom. He says, you know what? You know that you don't have to live that way. You know, like, you don't have to live this kind of fake life where you pretend like, hey, plant is growing, the seeds are there, I'm a strong person. Like, I got this together, things are coming together. And he's like, you know what? It looks great for a while, but the truth is that if you just wait just a while longer and the sun gets just a little bit warmer, the plant is just going to die. Just watch. Just watch it die. And I know so many people that live their life like this. And all along, you know, one of the things that I've learned, and I encourage you to just consider learning with us, is what does it mean to live the kind of life where we're serious about our roots going incredibly deep? Where we're really committed to certain values, and we decide that we're going to live a different kind of life, where we're going to take the teachings of Jesus and our relationships seriously in a way that we never had before. Is it going to be, like, easy to do? Not at all. It's going to be really, really hard. Putting down roots is so hard to do that most people avoid it. As a pastor, one of the times that I've seen people avoid this more than any other is when they get married. Because I've been a pastor for years, one of the things that I actually love to do as part of my role is to help people in their journey of preparing to get married. Right? It's that great moment when you tell, hey, how did you meet, and all this stuff, and you do your best, you know, in a very broken world that we live in, you do your best to help people prepare them in the right way. And, you know, in many ways that works, and in other ways, many of you know that it's best that you try to prepare. There's these challenges and things